Good morning, everyone. It is really a pleasure to be here and have an opportunity to talk to you today. As you heard, my name is Marta Bechtel. I'm in the biology department and I teach molecular biology and cell biology. Today I wanted to really talk to you primarily about the biotech program. I worked in biotech industry for a number of years after I had completed my undergraduate program and realized after I had been working for a number of years in research that I loved research and I wanted to go back to graduate school. In graduate school, I had the opportunity to experience academic research, which is really different from R&D in the industry, in the biotech industry. It caused me to fall in love with research in the academic setting, and then I got bitten by the bug to teach. I want to tell you that there's nothing quite as satisfying when you're teaching students and you're describing an amazing molecular process that cells can do and that are happening right now as we sit here, and the students suddenly look in your eye and they get it and they see it. It really hooks you. That's actually why I ended up coming to JMU, was because I was impressed by the fact that JMU has a commitment to teaching excellence. And today I want to give you some examples of some of those sorts of research projects that our undergraduate students do here at JMU. One of the first ones that CJ referred to is the fact that we have a really serious problem with fish kill in the Shenandoah rivers and some of our other local rivers. As a consequence of that problem, there are a number of faculty at JMU that are collaborating with regional, national, researchers at the federal and local level to understand what the problem is. We have students who are going out into the rivers, collecting the samples, bringing the specimens back, and doing the analyses. They also participated in writing a small grant that got funded to be able to do some of these studies. So right now, I would like to have you see a video of one of the professors who's working on this project. Professor Marta Bechtel is in the College of Integrated Sciences and Technology. She is also one of my colleagues in the biotech program, and she's a microbiologist working on this problem. We'll hear some of her words now.
The Shenandoah River fish kill has become a serious Virginia problem. In the Shenandoah River, we've lost about 80% of our smallmouth bass over the last 5 years. We're not entirely sure what's causing it. There's a whole team of researchers at JMU that's working on it. We do know that the water temperature in the Shenandoah River has gone up and up over the last couple of years. There's a researcher, Tom Benzing, in the Integrated Science and Technology Department that's been tracking water temperature. And an actual student has been tracking the water. They take samples and they log them into the computer and do graphs that show increasing water temperature throughout the year and also over the years. We focus a lot on how to do bioethics, how to clone bacteria and viruses, and we take away from that, should we do it? It's important to us to teach our biotechnology students all the ins and outs of how to do genetic engineering and how to clone bacteria and all kinds of great stuff, but we really also try to teach them, should they do it? What are the implications for society and what are the implications for our economic system? What are the ethics of it? Should they do it?
What Professor Bechtel was just referring to at the very end is that she also teaches a bioethics course in the biotechnology department. We feel it is very important for our students to have an understanding of the ethics involved in doing any kinds of biotechnology. Certainly, all of us in this audience are aware of many of the issues that are debated about some of the techniques that we are developing. And some people become concerned, are we racing along too quickly? So this is an issue that we feel is very important for our students to be able to debate and discuss rationally. Just because we can do it, should we do it? It's healthy to have that kind of a debate. Next, for another example of our biotech program, I'd also like to show you some examples of one of our other investigators, Professor Robert McCown, who is in the College of Integrated Sciences and Technology. Here, Professor McCown is working with his undergraduate students on a project where they are cloning a protein that is naturally occurring in the human tear. This protein is thought to potentially have a role in the treatment of dry eye. Some of you in the audience may even have dry eye. There are millions of people around the world who have dry eye, and it tends to be a disease that's happening in older people. So in this project, students are cloning the gene. They've expressed the gene, and they're doing purifications of the gene and making large amounts of this protein that then gets sent on to some of our collaborators at the University of Virginia, at Eastern Virginia Medical School, and at Walter Reed, where they are now doing preclinical studies. These studies done at JMU were done all by our undergraduate students. Many times when I have spoken to colleagues at larger institutions, they often say, I can't believe it's possible that undergraduate students are capable of doing that kind of work. I can tell you, yes, they can. They are very capable. When you give them the opportunities, students seize those opportunities. I wanted to also mention to you that the research that is done here at JMU is primarily funded by grants that our faculty apply for. So even though they have a considerable teaching load here, because we have a commitment to teaching excellence, we also love to do research. But we also like to do research a little differently. It's student-centered research, and because we are primarily an undergraduate institution, it's the undergraduate students that are doing that work. So it is the results that our undergraduate students generate that is what we use in our grant proposals to write the grants that we hopefully get funded by federal institutions. Next, I would like to move on to one of our courses that we have here. Here is Professor Louise Temple, who is teaching a course called Genomics. In this course, students are learning the structure and function of genomes. They're also learning bioinformatic techniques. They're learning web-based methods for being able to analyze and manipulate DNA from various species. As a matter of fact, this semester, the students in the laboratory went to a turkey farm and isolated a turkey pathogen, a viral pathogen from the soil in a turkey farm, and are analyzing it, and recently sent it on to be sequenced. This is a new pathogen that they were analyzing. So the students, again, as an example, even in a classroom setting, it's hands-on. They're learning new tools that are going to prepare them for new careers in the future. Excuse me. Next, I would like to wrap up here talking about one other example that we have is the opportunity that JMU provides students to work with really sophisticated instrumentation. As CJ mentioned to you a few minutes ago, we are a large enough institution that we have sophisticated instruments, but we also are focused on teaching. As a consequence of that, our undergraduate students get the chance to work with very sophisticated instruments. What you saw up there are students. Here's a picture of Aaron working with a confocal microscope. That confocal microscope is an extremely expensive piece of equipment. Aaron will describe it to you in a few minutes. That allows students to look at tremendous details inside of cells. This piece of equipment was obtained by a grant that our faculty here at JMU had written, and we received funding through the National Science Foundation for this. In this project that you just saw Aaron working on, he was using this microscope to look at algae, which may potentially provide a source for alternative biofuels. And a potential program that we've got here at JMU is the development of alternative fuels. To describe that better to you, I would like to introduce two of my colleagues, Professor Chris Bachman in the College of Integrated Sciences and Technology, and Professor Rob Prinz, who is in the College of Engineering. Both of them are going to describe some of the additional projects we have going on in our engineering or our energy program.